Okay, how about now? You should be able to hear me. Potentially. Okay. Okay, good. Right. Hello, welcome. It is another day, another stream, but today's stream is very special. As I mentioned, if you were in the Discord yesterday, you will have seen the newly announced title, Legends of Akeroth. It is a brand new game that I have been working on in the background, that the team has been getting together. It's been play tested by our amazing Discord community as well. Well, select group of people in the Discord. But let me grab some bits and bobs to show you what it is. Apologies. Where are we at? Oh, it's because I've got Premiere Pro open at the exact same time. That's why my computer is like going, no, I don't like this. Let me close Premiere Pro. Get rid of all of these extra things. Okay. Apologies. Right. Okay. So it wants to load. Bear with me. My OBS is having a bit of a nightmare, so I will just get this working. Okay, here we go. Perfect. There we go. I am very pleased to showcase Legends of Akeroth, a brand new game that I've been designing. It is inspired by JRPGs of the golden age of JRPG, the SNES era. It is a wonderful, fantastic game that has the best blend of everything I've learned so far from design, but also is very adorable, really easy to sort of get your hands on and get into, while also keeping some of the key core concepts as well alive. So today's stream, I've got a few things I want to go over, a few things I want to show off, a few things to answer questions wise. But if you haven't already, I will quickly just do the thing. Legends of Akeroth is currently on BackKit in its pre-launch. So if you head over to this, if you head over to this link, you can go and follow the project. If you follow the project, you will receive a free set of PDFs with a demo for solo play and a demo for group play. And if you are willing to reserve a spot, you will receive a free acrylic keychain with your physical pledge and 2 digital adventure modules. But the other thing we're doing is if you reserve for £5, you receive that £5 back during the pledge manager stage. So essentially, all of this is free. They will be available for purchase during the campaign in case anyone misses out, but you will not be able to get them free any other time. So pledging £5, you get it back anyway, and you'll get all of this for free. So yeah, really great stuff. So let me see where we're at. All right, so first things first, we can jump into something new that is going to be released for alongside your viewing of the demo. Some of you have said, "Oh, what's it going to be like to have the demo play?" So let me showcase something for you. All right, here we go. Cool. So I do have something to show you first, which will be this. And I will just transition over right now. I'm muted. There we are. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is the first volume of our soundtrack showcase. It is one of the tracks that you will be able to listen to right now. It is available on YouTube. It is public, so if you go onto our YouTube channel, you can listen to this as you play the demo. It is a beautiful track, and I think it encompasses a lot of what I love about the JRPG combat tracks, and is just a fantastic piece of music. So yeah, really great stuff, and a huge shout out to our composer who has put together an absolutely wonderful soundtrack with some amazing tracks. So you can expect more of these. The full soundtrack, for us to expand it into a full entire thing, will be a follower goal for this project, just to make you aware. But we will do some slow reveals of tracks as we get closer to the pre-launch and the launch party and such. You know, we've got a lot of amazing tracks for this, and I'm really excited to showcase them. And I'd love to get it out there as a full soundtrack via Spotify, but that's what we need the follower goal for, because we can't just upload to Spotify. There's a whole rigmarole we need to go through, which requires us to actually be able to do that. And to do that, we need support. So that is what it will lead to. Perfect. So that's the first thing. I will answer some questions about the game while I've got some time. So let's see here. Arc, I keep forgetting, you've been at every single project I've ever done, but Arc Majorless. Yeah, Arc Majorless. I saw 3 lines for classes. Does that mean we can multi-class, or does that mean we have prestige classes? So there are no prestige classes for this game. Instead, there are just classes, and then you've got multi-classing. So there is no limit to levels either. You can go all the way up to 999 or million if you want. You can just keep spending XP to level up again and again and again. There is no level cap, because I didn't really feel like a level cap made sense for a game like this. So you can just keep going. You can multi-class into multi-level and multi-classing, but there is a major class and a minor class. The major class is the only one that you can unlock a job for, and jobs are essentially, I don't want to say subclassing, but because you've got subclasses, they are essentially that's what they are. They're subclasses. I'm just going to go with subclasses. It's easier. A job is a specialized subclass for a particular class. So for mage, you have like Chronomancer, you have Summoner. You know, you have these really interesting, I don't think Summoner is that one. I think that one is a different class. No, that's Sage. You have the Void Walker. You know, these are your jobs that you can get. So good example is the Healer. The Healer has the jobs Cleric, Bard, Oracle, Alchemist. You know, those are jobs. Only if you pick it as your main class can you get access to jobs. But you can pick as many classes as you want. But yeah, is this going to be the system that allows for multi-aspect spellcasting? No, it will not be, because it isn't what my aim for this game is. What I want is people to just play a JRPG style of game, and many of the JRPGs that I've played do not have mixture of spellcasting. What they do allow is group casting. So there are rules for group casting, and you can cast as an entire party if you want. Even non-casters have the ability to help with spellcasting by spending hero points as such to assist. But it's actually mechanically, they will do more by spending a hero point during a spellcast. So that's what that allows for. But no, it's not something I'm planning for this one. It just doesn't make sense to me on a theming level, because again, it's really difficult, but I don't want this game to do everything. I want this game to do very specific styles of play. And I've mentioned this before, but I have particular pillars that I like to hit when I'm designing any title, and this one has very particular pillars that I want to try and do. So yeah, no multi-aspect spellcasting in this one, but never say never, right? You never know. I might it might be an expansion, it might be follow-up, something, who knows. Okay, so that's that. I have another thing I want to show off, which is also going to go public today as well. You probably saw it on YouTube if you haven't already, but if you're wanting to, I can showcase it right now. So I'll let people decide, or I can just answer more questions about the title. It's a very cool video, I will warn you. All right, there we go. So this was put together, and the person behind, well, you know, I'll just play it and then I will talk about the video. Here we go.
There is a moment just before adventure begins, when the world feels open and full of promise, when the air carries a hint of new stories and the smallest step can change everything. This is the land of Akeroth, a place of bright skies, quiet mysteries, and paths that welcome anyone willing to follow them. Here, even simple days feel meaningful. Helping neighbors, browsing markets, exploring forests, resting by a glowing campfire. And beyond these peaceful moments lie shrines, ancient places and wonders waiting to be found. Start as a traveler by choosing from one of the fantastic kin that inhabit this land. Then take a class that shapes your path. As you grow, you unlock a job that deepens your style. There are many to discover. In Legends of Akeroth, your story grows through the choices you make. Blend 2 of your attributes for each role and turn challenges into opportunities. The game supports the journey you want to take. Explore alone, guided by oracles that shape the road ahead. Share the tale with a partner. Gather a group and follow a herald through sweeping adventures. Or play together without a guide, letting the system itself carry the story forward. Your story is written in the steps you take, the choices you make, and the spirit you bring to the road. Legends of Akeroth. Learn more on BackerKit. There is a moment.
Okay, so I just want to say a huge thank you to the very talented voice actress behind this. She has put in all her energy into this, and it is one of the most beautifully read scripts I have had in a very, very long time. So yeah, she's put in a lot of work, and I'm very, very proud of her. So a huge round of applause to her for all of the work. Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic trailer. I think it encompasses a game as much as I wanted in every single way I could even imagine. It's a great trailer. I think I didn't want to reveal too much because that's not what trailer should do. It should give you everything about the game in a very easy to understand way without being too much in your face. And I didn't want it to be too long either because, you know, people would sometimes just zone out. So that isn't a goal either. But yeah, it is something that I am very proud of having available. You know, it's a good trailer, so I'm very proud of it. This game is just fantastic. I can't speak its praises enough. You know, just I know it's from a case of I'm the one who wrote it, so I'm going to have a very, very different view to it than other people. But yeah, it is a fun game. There are people who've played it though. If you join our Discord, there are a group of at least 13, 14 people who have had access to the full game already and have been playing it for about, and I actually think it's been about a couple of weeks now, 2 to 3 weeks at this point. And they have had a fantastic time. They have been instrumental in making the game what it is today, which is why I'm able to release such a good demo and, you know, character sheets and whatnot, because the game has been tested by people. If you have any questions, ask in the Discord. You know, they have had access to the full game. I'm not saying like a middle ground version of the game. No, they have had access to the full 300+ page book, core rulebook for this game. They will answer any questions that you have. There are some things we may not be able to completely talk about right now, but there are definitely the broader stroke stuff that we can discuss. But yeah. Oh, okay, let me switch over to that. I will quickly go over the backer kit page. Actually, it might be helpful for you guys as well. So, what is Legends of Akeroth? It is a brand new tabletop RPG that is inspired by the blue sky stories that from the SNES era of JRPGs, such as Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem, and so much more. The game is inspired by titles like that because it's where I got a lot of inspiration for RPGs from. For example, Dragon Quest was my first foray into sort of like when I first played Dragon Quest. It was Dragon Quest 11 was the one I played. I loved it so much. It was so much fun to play. And I remember sitting down, and when I first heard about D&D, and I was trying to play it because we wanted to get Risk, but then D&D was what we brought home. I sat down and I went, I want to run Dragon Quest, but with friends. Unfortunately, that never materialized because the system just didn't work for that, but also it wasn't what the style of play that people wanted. So I decided, okay, forget it. I'll just leave that for now. But I keep coming back to it because I keep coming back to Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem, all these amazing titles. Golden Sun, I Am Setsuna, I believe, as well. That's one of them. There is just tons of games that I've always looked at for inspiration for when I'm writing any game. Golden Sun was a huge inspiration for Draconim. So bringing that into this as well has just been fantastic. Anyway, the game explores the region of Eric, and I can show you that. Wait, can you hear me? Yes, you can. Sorry. Sometimes the audio just dies out when I turn off my my thing. Let me see if I can grab it for you. Sorry, there it is. So here is the region of Eric in a beautiful, beautiful pixel art style map. Like, I'm sorry, and this has to be talked about, but look at it's just so good. My art team are one of the I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. They are the greatest of all time. I can't even put anything beyond them because my God, they have gone above and beyond. But this one was done by Marta, my amazing art director. And it's all pixel art. It's entirely pixel art. Fully. It's different bits. So you've got 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit, whatnot. But it's all pixel art. It is entirely pixel art. It is gorgeous. It is very, very nice. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this. It is so beautiful. Like, I don't know. I just want to go to these places and visit them and explore and do the thing, But yeah, the map is just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, so you will be exploring Eric. It is on the second continent of Akeroth. So I'll grab a map of Akeroth, actually. That might be helpful. Where is it? Cross parts, marketing, map. Here we go. Okay. We'll do this one. It's a bit brighter. Okay, so you guys know that we have different titles, that explore different areas of the world. So if we start from the beginning, Bramble Trek is set inside Mayfalls. Not Mayfalls, sorry, High Hill. Then we had Comes of Midnight, which is set inside Messin. You can see right there, the Midnight Court. Then we have Ashes, which is set in a future version of Mayfall's Keep. Then we come into Draconim, which is set inside Batazian. And now we go all the way into Eric, which is one of the regions in the second continent of Akeroth. There is so much of this world that still needs to be explored, but I am really proud of the fact that there are different games that explore different areas of it in different ways, and every single game feels distinctly different in its approach, and that makes me very happy. It is just one of the goals I had when writing these games, because I didn't just want to create a game and have it explore different areas. I wanted to create unique titles for each one as at least bare minimum, because, as I have said in the previous videos, Draconim will explore the entirety of Akeroth. It is my flagship title. It is the one I will have expansion books for that cover the entire world. But these smaller RPGs that focus in a single region, while I do plan on writing a, for example, Bramble Trek expansion that expands into a different region, these titles will have smaller expansions that take you into that, rather than being full-blown RPG scale stuff. But there will be stuff still planned for an RPG in Tirafel, an RPG in Kaba that is specifically designed around the themes of that place. So it begs the question, why did I choose Eric as my inspiration for Legends of Akeroth? It is a question that has come up. People have asked, Bramble Trek, it was clear why High Hill's chosen, because it's forest, it's, all of these other things. The reason Eric was chosen is it's inspired heavily by Camelot, by Hyrule, by the open plain lands of classic fantasy. It is meant to be the hopeful place. It is where darkness doesn't really have a reach. It does now, but in the past, it has been the place that people look to for hope. And it just made sense to be the place I based this game in. But yeah. Could we potentially get the map of Akeroth as a physical add-on one of these days? We have had it in the past. Other titles have had a full map of Akeroth in physical form. The reason I don't want to do it again is because it is not something that I think works for every campaign. For this one, I don't think there's any point not saying it, but there will be a version of the map of Eric available in print form. And then, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. It's just a lot of effort doing a big map as well. So yeah. So Draconim will be the bridge between games. No, I don't think there's a bridge. I think every game can stand on its own two legs, and more so, Draconim is its own title. It doesn't really transfer into Bramble Trek. It doesn't transfer into Comes of Midnight. What it does do, however, is stand as the Akeroth RPG. I think that is the best way to look at Draconim. It is the Akeroth RPG. So yeah. Can you make the Akeroth map into a sheet set? That should be big enough. Yeah, maybe. Okay, cool. Right, so that's that. Let's see. Classic turn-based combat. So I have been working very hard on trying to make this combat work within a tabletop space. As people have said, heavily inspired by Fire Emblem. If you know Fire Emblem, you will instantly get this combat system. The way it works is you have heroes and enemies. You have the hero round, the enemy round. During the hero round, everyone gets 2 actions per turn, but you must take those 2 actions on your turn. So you take a turn, you do your action, blah, blah, blah. That's how it works, just functionally. But when you attack someone, there is a weapon triangle that you must contend with. I will open up a copy of the game so we can have a look. Okay. So this is the entire core rulebook. By the way, I'm not gonna be hiding much. I think if people have questions, I'll answer them. But the way that combat works is there are 5 weapon types in this game: blade, arcana, blade, breaker, bow, lance. The melee weapons enter into the weapon triangle. The ranged weapons. You got the melee triangle and the ranged matchup. So the way that this works is, if you have a melee weapon, blade beats breaker. Blades are your daggers, your swords, anything that requires some sense of skill to swing in some way. You know what? Best way to think about it. A blade is something you swing. A breaker is something you smash. A lance is something you poke. I think that's the best way to describe it. So a blade is that type of weapon. Sword, great sword, daggers, stuff like that. A breaker is something that you will use with force. So, for example, axes, hammers, whips. My analogy just disappeared because of whips. Fine. Those are the types of weapons that are breakers. Lancers are your lancer, your halberd, your spear, your stuff like that. So, but what about a staff, I hear you ask? So let's think about it like this. A staff you smash with, so it's a breaker. That's the type of weapon it is. It's a breaker type. You do not stab with a lance, so it isn't with a staff. Sorry, so it isn't going to be a lance type. If you have advantage in this triangle, your damage die steps up by 1. If you have disadvantage, your damage die steps down by 1. That's the way that it works. Wait a second, Ash. What do you mean steps down its damage die? Well, in this game, damage is not rolled to hit, or damage is done separately. Instead, it's all encompassed into a single roll that is just the value of the weapon as it is. So let's get a weapon example here for you. Here we go. So the Iron Sword. The Iron Sword is a one-handed blade that deals 1d6 plus your primary attribute. It has versatile, which is 1d8. So if you use it two-handed, it is now going to deal 1d8 damage. That's besides the point. When you roll for damage, you just roll the dice on there. If you roll a 1, your attack misses. If you roll a 6, your attack crits, or the highest value of the die. So the Iron Sword crits on a 6, the longbow crits on an 8. Oh, sorry, the longbow can't crit because it's a ranged weapon, but the Iron Hammer would crit on a 10, as an example. Wait, but doesn't that mean that some weapons can crit more often than others? Like a D4, I'll be critting 25% of the time. Yeah, but you'll also be missing 25% of the time. So the balance is automatic there. You miss just as often as you crit. So, yeah. For dual-wielding dagger, do I sum up dice total to fight the defense of my target, or do I only use the first die? Oh, it's both damage. Everything hits the defense. All of it. That's why daggers are so powerful, because you can dual-wield them. The damage isn't that high, but you get both the benefit of both of them at the same time. So it's as if you're hitting twice. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. It is a very easy system to get a handle once you've done it a few times. I will be completely honest. The shapes, the triangles, it can be confusing when you start. And I'll be, completely fair. It was difficult when I started as well. I just didn't have a hold of it. I didn't really know how to design this to work in tabletop. It took a lot of iterations in order for it to work, but it functions as it should now. The way that damage also steps is you start at a D4, and if you step up, it goes D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20. Stepping down goes D20, D12, D10, D8, D6, D4. You can't go above or below the numbers at each extreme, which means that you can't suddenly go from D20 to D100 for damage, unless your Herald allows you to do so. But it also means you don't go from a D4 to a D2, because then you're missing and critting. D2 is extremely broken in this system because you have a 50% chance of either. And it's essentially like flip a coin. And every time you land heads, you keep doing the damage again and again and again. It's fun. I would say that would be really fun. But no, it's not something I want to do. So, you have the weapon triangle and you have the ranged matchups. When you hit a range attack, that is either a bow or a spell, bows and spells cannot miss, but they also cannot crit. So you fire a bow at someone and you deal D6. You roll a 6. Unfortunately, that doesn't explode. You can't crit. And you're like, but you might ask, oh, but that's not fair. What's it called? A sword can crit though. Yeah, but you also can't miss. You're always guaranteed some damage. All right, wait, are we back? Help me. Tell me I'm back. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. I think that somewhere my door's closed, which my internet doesn't really go through my doors very well, so I do need to go fix that later. I'll do it. It'll be fine for a bit longer. Sorry. Where was I? Could someone remind me where I was? I think I was talking about spells. Let me grab this, actually. It's probably useful. Just pop this just there as well. Yeah, so someone remind me just where I was, but also if I've disconnected. Okay, cool. Perfect. So, spells. Very similar system to Draconim if you had played it. The way that spells work are you have two types of spells. Technically you have three types, but you have offensive spells and support spells. Offensive spells can be cast in one of two ways: battle cast and field cast. Battle cast spells are fast. They are direct. They start a duel, so they're one-on-one. You can only ever target one person with a battle cast spell. So that's your fire bolt. That's your thunder bolt, whatever. Single target, single damage roll. You can empower these spells still by using the empower augmentation. So you can upcast the spell by spending more spirit. Spirit in this game is mana/grit. That is how they function. So you can spend more in order to step up the die, add more damage dies, what have you. But there's not really, you can't do any of the others. You can only use the empower augmentation on the battle cast. Field cast is where it gets fun. They are wide area stuff. They are your big fireballs. They are your, I'm going to create a full area of difficult terrain. They are your big charm spells. Example. You choose a field cast template. The templates are found here. You have cone, emanation, line, sphere. I'm just going to make this look a bit prettier because I don't like how the settings are set up. There we go. There we are. So we have cone, emanation, line, sphere, for example. You get a fair amount of options here. Once you've chosen your template, you can then augment it. So, for example, increase the distance of the placement of your template. You can extend the line, you can widen the cone, enlarge the radius, and subtle cast them. But field casting always detonates after your turn. The reason for that is enemies can also do this, which means you get a chance to move away or run away, which increases your tactical decision making. Field casting spells is extremely, extremely powerful, and these spells could literally end combat very quickly because your spirit is very high due to the way that these games work. So tactical positioning is very important. They detonate after, on the next turn that you've cast them. So your next turn, which gives the enemies a chance to move away, to interact with it in some form. But it means you also get the same benefit of that. If an enemy spellcast, that is. Because they're extremely powerful. Obviously, this might change. It isn't something I'm completely 100% with just yet. But because in playtesting, no one really brought it up, it's not really been something I've been huge about. It's also to give allies a chance to move away should you detonate something, because it does friendly fire apply to enemies and allies the same way. Anyway, field casting resolves the same way. You roll your damage die once, crit or miss doesn't happen here. Every single creature still within the template, it should be template here, not technique, takes that result as normal, and you apply any affinities that the creature has. But what are affinities? Well, an affinity is as follows. You have vulnerable, resistant, immune, and absorb. They are as they sound. If someone is vulnerable to a damage type, they take double damage. If they are resistant, they take half. Immune, they take 0. And if they absorb it, it heals them. So you have cold, fire, light, physical, poison, psychic, shadow, and thunder. Your classic archetypes. I didn't really want to change much there. It is a very fun way to do it. I'm going to go into depth with these later on. I think that I don't want to cover the entire thing right now. But does anyone have any immediate questions about the game, about how it functions, about any of this? Still not sure about this. I don't know. Part of me is like, yeah, you wait until they cast it, but then you're spending a lot of stamina and of spirit in order to do this. I'll have to think about it later. That's not what this stream is for. This is meant to be a reveal, not an edit. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you got any questions about the system. I am happy to discuss it. But yeah, you'll also see little things like these throughout as well. They are little reminder posts from our resident frog, Crokin Kero. He is the little sort of like, well, he's a little guy who's going to be helping you through the game. So frequently asked questions, stuff like that sort of come up here. Is this to take place before or after Draconim in the basic timeline? Same exact time as Draconim. This game will not have a timeline inside the book because it's not a story-based adventure similar to Draconim. Now, if I wrote a full adventure for this, yes, I will add a timeline in. But for all intents and purposes, it is a game that runs in the basic general timeline as Draconim. Same exact time. But yeah. Yeah, so spells obviously come up as well. There are 120 spells in this system, same as Draconim. And there is a system known as rights. I'm not going to discuss what they are just yet. I will discuss them later. But as some of the playtests can tell you, rights are really cool. There are tons and tons of items that I have designed for this game. Every single item in the book has its own little pixel art. Every single one. There is not any items that do not. Oh God, why is that in? Is that Arial? Don't like that. Let's fix that later. Calibri, get out of here. Which one did we do? Yeah, it's Portada. Nice. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Will the allied ninja evade healing spell who desperately needs it? I mean, there you go. Right. That's that. Yeah, as I say, every single item has pixel art. Gorgeous pixel art. Really nice stuff. So yeah, can't really complain with any of that. Yeah. It's just really nice. It's a nice book. You know, it's really cute. But yeah, as I say, it's also got a solo mode. It's also got a duet mode. I have also designed something which I'm very, very proud of, which is the difficulty modes for the game, but also it has a saving the game mechanic in there as well. So I've written in a guide to how you save the game, because it is classic saving the game, but you can't. It's not technically save scumming. That's not how this works. It's basically a guided way for you to journal the session, so you can literally pick up exactly where you left off. So it's how you would save, because in Dragon Quest you save, and then when you start the game again, it gives you a little diary entry of what happened before, which I find very fun. So I wanted to create that sense of wonder inside this as well. But yeah, let's see what else we got. So inside the first the demo for the group play, you will have noticed a page spread like this. Let's see if I can get it. Sunrise. Shimon. Here we go. You will have noticed something like this. Just like that. So these are location sections for the game. They are entire double page spreads on each location, some NPCs, some local hooks, general goods that you can buy. The vision about it that I had was you enter a town in a JRPG, you can speak to NPCs and they give you something, or you can go and buy things from a general store, and every location has unique items alongside any of the random items that they have. And I wanted to create that same sense of wonder in a simple to understand yet also easy to grasp way, or easy to run way. So every single named location on the map, and I'm not even joking about this. I will show you the map again, actually here. So every single one of these locations that has a tag has 2 pages describing what you can find, what items are there, story hooks, NPCs, key locations, arrival mood, XP that they get upon arrival. Some of them have artwork if there wasn't enough information for them. What you can do during rest and downtime. They get, as I say, local hooks, general goods, outbound leads, everything. It is very, very in depth. You're getting a fair amount of information here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 double page spreads on every single location inside Eric. But also, not to just add that in, you also got an entire system, subsystem, to allow you to generate your own settlements as well. So you can roll for settlement type, settlement tone, the services they have in the settlement, what they're known for, any current trouble that's going on in there. A name generator, there's event generators, there's guides on how to create NPCs by rolling D66s. You can create an entire NPC using this system. You've got flavorful on the subkin, you've got first name, surname generators, and then you've got the dungeon generation system as well, which I am incredibly proud of. It is probably the most fun thing that I found because I enjoy dungeons in JRPGs. So it's got procedural generation where you roll a set of dice and then you can organize those dice in specific orientations in order to get different dungeon styles. And yeah, it is extremely fun. And you've got shrines as well. So this is how you build a shrine. Shrines are always 5 rooms. 1 room is always a puzzle room, and the final room is always going to be a relic chamber with a boss fight or item. Think the shrines from Legend of Zelda. That's the best way that I can explain it. So you can generate them so every single shrine you visit is completely different. No 2 will be the same. And yeah, it is a lot of fun. You have dungeon generation as well, because dungeons are not limited by any number. So you can have as many rooms in the dungeon as you want. And then you've also got room generation stuff where you can determine the size of the room, the features in the room, the atmosphere of the room, the treasure tables. There's monster oracles where you can generate entire new monsters without using the stat block system. There is an entire system allowing you to create custom monsters, and then all of this wrapped up nicely in a solo mode with a duet mode as well, should you wish to do that with a partner. And then yeah, I also mentioned the different, say, the level system or the difficulty systems. I'll see which page I added that into, but there are tons of oracles in this game. I think I mentioned it in this, but there are over 50 oracles and tables and over 1,400 prompts to allow you to build completely unique stories. So I put a lot of effort into that because it's really important to me that it existed in that way. Here we are. Difficulty modes. I am extremely proud of this system as well, because what I wanted to do was create a way that when you start the game, you have different difficulties you can choose from. In any RPG, it's possible. Why are we not able to do that for tabletop RPGs? Why is the difficulty set by whoever is running the game? What if you're running it solo? How do I make myself have a different challenge but doing that? Think about this. Pokemon has a single difficulty. It doesn't really have a challenge mode. So what did people do? Nuzlocke, mods, all these things to create difficulty levels because they wanted the challenge. So I created a new system that allows you to have difficulty challenges. So the best, one of the modes that I'm really pretty proud of is peaceful mode. People don't like having combat in their JRPG, well, in their RPG sometimes. They just want to journal. They don't really care about that sort of thing. So this system has rules to allow you to just play peaceful with no combat. Well, some combat. So in peaceful mode, enemies deal 1 die less than all their rolls. The triangle advantage deals double damage, so it's a lot. Deals double damage. Heroes recover 2 health and 2 spirit at the start of each round. Flee attempts will always succeed, and you can reduce encounters by 1. Success tiers change as well. They become a 0 is a fail, a 1 to 2 is a mix, and a 3 is a full success. So it's slightly different than the core rule, where 1 to 3 is a mixed success, and 4+ is a full success. So success is a lot easier to achieve. You also have optional rules for peaceful combat. So heroes can overcome dangers through bravery, cleverness, or pure narrative momentum. When entering peaceful mode, the group can choose to resolve the encounter instead of playing out the fight. The way that you do this is that you decide how you want to resolve the encounter. Are you charging in? Are you doing tactical positioning? Are you inspiring the group? Etc., etc. Every single player rolls, and depending on how many heroes achieve a full or mixed success, you look at that as a trigger. So majority of the heroes succeed. The encounter is 1. No damage was taken. Everyone reduces their spirit by 1 just to represent your exertion, and you proceed rolling loot like normal. If there are equal number of failures and successes, the encounter is 1 with strain. Everyone loses 1d6 HP, everyone loses 1 spirit, and someone suffers a minor status. That is up to you as a table to decide. If everyone fails, or majority fails, the encounter adds strain to the party, everyone loses 1d12 HP, 2 spirit, and it increases their danger clock by 1. If you're using clocks, that is. But you can't then resolve encounters again. You're just done. And the other thing is the tone sort of shifts as well. Then you've got heroic mode, legend mode, master mode, and apocalypse mode. I ran apocalypse mode recently, solo. Jesus Christ, I got my ass handed to me. It was essentially Dark Souls level of abuse, but I enjoyed it a lot because I got to mess with my spells a lot, and it was a lot more fun doing it that way. So that's that. But we are running into the end of the stream, so I will play the announcement trailer one more time and then end the stream there. I want to say thank you to every single one of you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. I want to thank you for checking out the game. I'm extremely excited. I love this game so much. I love all my games equally. I think this one holds a very special place in my heart alongside games like Bramble Trek and Draconin, just because this is the one that represents what inspired me to become a tabletop fan. It's digging into my past and my childhood a lot more than the other titles are. So I get to really play that out. So I will play it one more time. I will thank you, and I will leave you. Goodbye, and I hope your adventures are fantastic.
There is a moment just before adventure begins when the world feels open and full of promise, when the air carries a hint of new stories and the smallest step can change everything. This is the land of Akeroth, a place of bright skies, quiet mysteries, and paths that welcome anyone willing to follow them. Here, even simple days feel meaningful, helping neighbors, browsing markets, exploring forests, resting by a glowing campfire. And beyond these peaceful moments lie shrines, ancient places and wonders waiting to be found. Start as a traveler by choosing from one of the fantastic kin that inhabit this land. Then take a class that shapes your path. As you grow, you unlock a job that deepens your style. There are many to discover. In Legends of Akeroth, your story grows through the choices you make. Blend 2 of your attributes for each role and turn challenges into opportunities. The game supports the journey you want to take. Explore alone, guided by oracles that shape the road ahead. Share the tale with a partner. Gather a group and follow a herald through sweeping adventures. Or play together without a guide, letting the system itself carry the story forward. Your story is written in the steps you take, the choices you make, and the spirit you bring to the road. Legends of Akeroth. Learn more on BackerKit.